Hey guys, what's going on? TheRealOGnick here, bringing you guys another video. In today's video, guys, we will be discussing microtransactions and whether or not they are good or bad for gaming, and whether or not it's the dev's responsibility to kind of look after the consumers and make sure there's no issues as far as gambling and things like that. The reason that we're talking about this today, guys, is because there's been a lot of discussion with encrypted caches in the Division community, and I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on it. I talked about it a little bit on Twitter, but I kind of want to give my opinion on it on both that side a little bit. I'm not going to touch too much on it, but more so transactions as a whole, in my opinion on them, and whether or not they're good for gaming, and just overall what I feel about them. To start with, my opinion on microtransactions is that overall they are good for games. Games need money, and at release, a lot of people, like to say that they don't need transactions, but at release, yes, they do make a lot of money, but most of that isn't all profit at first. Once they do start making profit, then obviously they can use that to more development for DLC, like map packs, weapons, skins, outfits, pretty much anything you can think of to improve the game experience and give the consumers more to buy and more to play with. But if you're in a year 2, year 3 content, you run out of money, so you need these microtransactions to be bought and to be used in order to make more money, to develop more things for the game, to continue the game's growth and keep it living so it doesn't die, and or maybe have to require you to make a sequel that we've seen in the past. To me, I don't think anyone can really say that microtransactions aren't necessary and or aren't needed for game studios or developments to happen for games. I think that everyone can pretty much agree on that fact that that is needed for certain aspects, and that money isn't just there. You have to earn the money. Money goes away. So anyone who's really saying that microtransactions aren't necessary, I feel like don't understand just simple, I won't even say math, but just simple understanding of how much money go into these games and development to pay for all the staff, everything that you need to put into these developments to improve the game experience, whether or not it's bug fixes or DLCs, like I said before, with all those types of DLCs you can have, like microtransactions. And also, guys, I just wanted to clarify, I am someone who buys a lot of microtransactions. I buy a lot of packs. I buy a lot of MT, whether it's for 2K. I buy packs for EA's sports games. I buy a lot of microtransactions. I'm not someone who just buys 1 or 2 things and then it just kind of stops there. Now I'm going to give my opinion. I buy a lot of microtransactions. So if anyone's really going to know, like, the whole idea of this next part I'm about to talk about as far as the consumer responsibility, it'll be me, because I understand, the whole spending a shit ton of money, maybe not getting what you want, and then feeling like shit about it for a few days or even a week. So I can kind of give a personal experience and kind of a good review of it, in my opinion, and what I think whose responsibility it is ultimately. When it comes to consumer responsibility, to me, it's exactly that. It is the consumer's responsibility to spend their money as they please, but to not obviously ruin their lives for a video game for microtransactions. I think microtransactions are not the issue when it comes to people who maybe either get addicted or have a gambling issue, which can also be put in a line of addiction. Anything can be addictive. So saying that it's just microtransactions that's causing addiction, I believe is false personally. A lot of things go into addiction, and anything can be addictive. We've seen that in the past. There's shows like My Strange Addiction. There's things that can show that there are things that are addictive that you otherwise would be like, just you wouldn't understand why. But for them, it's something that gives them, it just makes them feel better when they do this action, and it gives them some closure, sort of. But then they just get too good with that, and they just keep doing it. Now, overall, the consumer responsibility is the biggest thing in this argument of whether or not microtransactions are good or not for gaming. I think that, yes, even though devs are the ones putting in the game ultimately, and they are making the decision on the pricing, what they're putting in the game, and what you can buy, the consumers are the one who are buying them. They are the ones who are buying these things and giving the money to the devs so they can make more implementations of the game. And ultimately, the consumers are responsible for what happens with microtransactions. The devs are putting it in there as an open market sort of thing, and the consumers are the ones who are buying them. Now, do I think that it's the devs' issue and or fault if an addiction happens, or if a consumer goes too far, spends too much money, and it hurts their personal life? No, I don't think it's the devs' fault. They can't anticipate and they can't control what people do, especially if their game is a high valued game. Let's say like PUBG, or when H1Z1 was like on top, or we're talking about Dota 2, things like that. You know, these sorts of games, they can't control what millions of people do. They just can't, you know? And I feel like people need to understand this and realize that the consumers are ultimately the death of themselves if they don't be responsible with their money. Now, that's for adults. When it comes to children, as far as when I consider children, I consider anything between like 13 to 14 and younger. Because when you're 13 to 14, you still don't really have a huge grasp of money. At least I know I didn't. I know a lot of my friends did. We would just kind of throw money around because to us it was like whatever. As you get older, obviously you realize how much money is impactful to your life and what you can do with it and everything like that. But when you're 13 to 14 and younger, I think that it is a lot harder for kids to kind of realize that you're just buying a microtransaction. You're buying something temporary with something that can be permanent. And yes, that is still the child's responsibility, but then it also comes to responsibility of the parents, in my opinion. I've said this on Twitter. The parenting is pretty much the key thing here. If you give your kid your credit card or debit card, whatever it may be, to purchase something in the game, and they purchase hundreds of thousands of dollars, like we've seen many stories in the past, whether it's mobile games, AAA games, free-to-play games, any sort of game out there, you know, then that is a parenting issue, and that is your responsibility. Now, the reason I say this is because there are at least on PS4, there are many different ways to go about stopping purchasing from happening. You can refund purchases if it was made without your permission. If it's your child or something, they do allow that. Let's say on PSN. I'm assuming Xbox too, but again, I don't have Xbox, so I can't confirm nor deny that. I don't want to give any false information here. Also on PS4, and I believe I saw this on Xbox too. You can have, you know, a code or whatever when you go to purchase something from the store, that you must input a code or something to confirm that you are the adult or you are the person buying it and you 100% want to buy it. It's not like your kid can just grab your debit card, put it in the system, and then buy whatever he wants, or it's your PayPal, anything like that. Because that is an issue, and it happens time and time again. Every day we see this, where kids get a hold of their parents' credit card or their PayPal information or anything like that can spend a shit ton of money without any repercussions at first, and they do that, and then the parents just lose everything practically as far as their money goes. So things like that, I think, come down to parenting, and those are, yes, extreme examples, but again, I don't consider them extreme. Like, I'm talking extreme examples because, again, we see this every day. You can find so many articles, so many stories on this type of issue whenever you look. You just Google it, you'll find a shit ton of articles talking about kids spending all their parents' money basically on a video game. Now, as far as the type of microtransaction, do I think the gambling-esque microtransactions, such as, you know, buy a pack, you have a chance of this, and this, where it's completely random, you have no idea what you're getting, you're either going to get rammed or you're going to be very happy, those suck. I agree, those are bad because you do get that one more mentality. And again, I'm one of those, especially with packs for sport games. Oh, I go crazy. I spend hundreds every year. But again, I make that decision, and I'm conscious about the decision, and I understand the repercussions. I know not everyone will, but it's just something that you just have to either learn yourself or teach yourself to just understand what the value of your money versus a microtransaction. Now, ultimately, I think that if microtransactions are ones that you can pay for and you know what you're getting, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting an emote, you're getting a particular skin, you're getting a particular map pack. If you know exactly what you're getting, that's different and that's better. But I do agree, and I see the point of view of that microtransactions that are completely random and without anyone's control are bad, and they are bad for gaming as far as the consumer's responsibility and giving the consumers what they want. Overall, I personally think is the responsibility of the consumers, and I do think that microtransactions are good for gaming. If you disagree or agree, or you just want to give your own little spin on what I had to say, please let me know in the comments down below your personal opinion on microtransactions and whether or not they are good for gaming, and whether or not it is the consumer responsibility or the devs or something else entirely. I am very interested in what you guys have to say about this. And it's definitely something that we'll see in the future because it's going to our AAA games, and pretty much any game we see nowadays has some sort of microtransaction. So really interested in what you guys have to say about this new kind of quote-unquote trend, we can say. If you did enjoy the video, guys, please like and subscribe. Also, hit that bell button so you guys never miss an upload on this channel. And also check out the links down below to all my social medias so you can keep up to date on all gaming content from me. And anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there. And I'm TheRealOGnick, and I'm out. Peace! Yo!